Today is Wednesday of the Holy Week. Naturally, the liturgy of the Word brings us all to a deeper understanding of the meaning and the beauty of the Passion experience of our blessed Savior. Now, today, when you read the passage of the Gospel from the Gospel of John, we can clearly see as to how Jesus was coming to the very end of his life. And when you look back as an individual, here you are, you have been committing yourself completely for the service of the people, healing people, raising people from the dead, talking to the downtrodden, speaking on behalf of the oppressed, and raising people to their own dignity, saving people from death like the woman caught in adultery, having done everything humanly possible on the face of the earth to liberate human beings, humankind. Having done all that, here he comes to a situation where one of his own disciples, one whom he had been with, someone he had associated and spent time with, had spoken to and listened to, Judas Iscariot, is now going to betray him. So it's definitely not very easy for any human being. So was it for him? Of course, it goes without saying. It was a deeply painful experience when you have one of your own doing the most evil thing that you can ever imagine, betraying him. If it was done by one of his own men who had listened to his services, somebody who was there in the vicinity, somebody who was spying on him, if it was done by someone like that, then at least we can understand that here he is facing a situation that is bearable. But here it is quite the opposite. But again, what we can notice very clearly is the sense of control, the sense of stability that he displays when encountering his own brother who was going to do so much damage to his life by betraying him. Of course, he says that whoever who betrays me, it's better for that person to be not even be born. But at the same time, he faces this man, encounters this man with deep pain inside, naturally, but at the same time with a tremendous amount of control, composure, and also compassion. Now, how was it possible for Jesus to do? Of course, this is something that is left for our imagination, also looking into it from a deeper sense of humanness of every human being. Now that we all are, in our own lives as well, we have such similar situations because betrayals do happen all the time. And our friends betray us, our families betray us, our spouses betray us, our children can do that. In every direction, betraying can happen. But how do I confront betrayal with compassion at the center of my being? My dear friends, there is an interesting story about one of these French artists. If I'm not mistaken, his name was John Matheson, who was a very talented artist. He could very skillfully draw beautiful drawings, and he was known for his capacity and the capabilities he had for drawing beautiful pictures. Towards the end of his life, he became a kind of disabled in his own hand. Perhaps in these modern times we would say he was suffering from arthritis or something like that, where it was very painful for him to draw what he used to draw. It was excruciatingly painful for him to hold the brush or the paintbrush or whatever. Then he decided somehow never to give this up. The beauty of his drawings was something that was in demand, and people appreciated that. People wanted him to continue, but it was severely painful for him. Somehow it is told that in his own life he somehow managed to get up in the morning, get himself ready, and always commit himself to continue drawing. So much so that he had to take a long piece of cloth in order to keep it between his fingers and the paintbrush, continued on with so much pain in his body, so much pain in his face. So someone asked him, "Medicine, why are you doing this? It's painful for you. Why do you just don't give it up? Why don't you just stop doing it?" Then what he said is something that is tremendously meaningful for us, my dear friends, in terms of our reflection today. He said, "My pain will one day disappear, but the beauty of my painting will always continue." So I am going through pain, but I am doing this because there is a beauty in doing what I have always been doing. That beauty will always be there for the people to see, for the people to appreciate, for students to learn. And therefore, until I die, I will do what I am capable of doing for the well-being of the world. My dear friends, in here also you can see that Jesus was going through pain. Definitely it was hurting. Definitely it was disappointing. And without a question, it was a deeply troubling experience. But deep down, he saw the beauty of his life in forgiving his own people who were turning against him. So in order to do that, you have to be like Medicine the painter. You have to have a larger vision of life. And so that whatever the other people do to you will become smaller. Because for Jesus in his own life, his mission was to give life to people, to teach people what it means to be a child of God, what it means to be a person who displays compassion, what it means to bring God to this earth. That was his mission. So the beauty of his mission was far above, way beyond the limited world of Judas Iscariot, who was trying to somehow betray him to the political and religious authorities, somehow to do whatever harm that is possible. And of course, there is this also theory which says that Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus because he wanted to expedite the struggle that people of Israel had against the Romans, because he was expecting Jesus to overthrow the Roman Empire or Roman administration. So he felt that Jesus was not doing it fast enough. So there is a theory to say that Judas was doing the betrayal in order to get Jesus to do it faster, to do whatever that is possible for him to do. But whatever the theory is, whatever we may imagine that Judas was doing this for, but the fact remains that he was turning against his master. He was doing something that is evil against him. My dear friends, in your life and in my life, we all, in the journey of our human experiences, we all do have people who will betray us, who will turn against us, who will do the unspeakable damage to you without you knowing. The best friend today can become the worst enemy tomorrow. But when we go through such experience, what is important is, do I find myself having the beauty of my own Christian life greater than the damage that someone can do to me? Because in life, what happens is none of us are going to live forever. One day, our own enemies will talk about us and say, yes, of course, I did damage to him or her, but there is something that is extraordinary about him or her. So if your children who betray you, if your spouse who leaves you, if your friends who turn against you can one day say, in spite of what they have done, that he was a man who was a truly Christian, who stuck to his guns, who lived according to his convictions, he was a man whom I could appreciate. My dear friends, that's what it means to be a follower of Christ. Amen.